Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us today. Got a brand new set here, in case you can see us. If you're listening via the radio, you wouldn't realize it, but we got the remodeled set here. We're in a different location here in the studio, and this is pretty exciting. And so, Doc, a lot going on in the world.
Yes.
A lot going on with our country.
And what's going on in our country is having an impact in the world.
And I was thinking on the way here about that very thing, the fact that Donald Trump being the president, America rules the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. America rules the world to some degree, not completely.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one world system yet, but our money pays for everybody. You realize what's getting ready to happen? I know it started out maybe a tongue in cheek. Mexico and Canada becoming the first state.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're joking anymore. I think it's real.
Well, starting tomorrow, there's going to be a 25% tariff on both Mexico and Canada.
Now, this is January 31st, the date of this recording. So those of you listening via radio or YouTube, by the time you watch this, a couple weeks have already passed.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico.
Right.
10%
on China.
I don't know why that is. And he mentioned that China, because of all the people they've killed with the drugs coming over
fentanyl.
here, you would think that would warrant a higher tariff. But I'm sure there's reasons for all
Well, the
of
other
this.
two is the ones that let it come over their borders. So
yeah, that's true. The press secretary was asked that is there some kind of condition if they meet, he'll take that off, and she said at this time no, but it's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, because right now, even though we could be and we once were energy independent, but as of right now, we get the greater majority of our oil out of Canada. So Canada is threatening to shut off the oil.
So they said that the Prime Minister of Canada said that if a 25% tariff they'd cease to be a nation or something like that.
At one time, that's why they're threatening to cut off the oil. Well, if they cut off the oil, that means they've cut off all of their people that's working in that industry. That's going to devastate them. So, do you cut your nose off, spite your face, or do you find a way to straighten your house up so that you can get out from underneath those tariffs?
Yeah.
And I don't know. We're not energy independent at the moment. And that's just one of the things that I see, Dan. Speaking last Sunday to the church, and I said, I'm not anti Mr. Trump by any means. I'm thrilled he's our president, but I don't think everybody understands the full scope of what's really taking place.
Yeah, and this thing about Trump and about America, we've got military in over 100 countries of the world.
Yes,
we've got our military bases.
Yep,
they do what we say.
We provide monies to them.
Yeah, now he's cut that off temporarily, but financial support of other countries.
Yep.
Why are we sending money to all these? We're buying influence.
We're buying influence and swaying our authority in the world. Yes.
Now we have the checkbook. We have the printing press,
yes,
so to speak.
Exactly right.
We are the currency of the world, is what I'm saying.
That's right.
That has a lot of power, and I've heard some people talk about that over the years. That if we ever lose that, it would be really damaging for us.
That's why they're working at the BRICS program and others, trying to find a way to get out from underneath that control that we have through the American dollar. And but there are other things, Dan, that I'm seeing. Just like right now, I'm thrilled that some of the hostages are getting out.
Yeah.
I really am. But when you just step back for just a little bit and say, we're trading 100 to 1, We're giving up
Yeah,
murderers.
I don't understand that.
If I defeated you in war, then I demand you give all my people back. And if I want to give some of yours back, that's fine, but I'm the boss. And this is not a good deal for Israel.
Yeah.
It's leaving Hamas with the...
They're getting 30 people for 2,000.
Yeah, it's not fair. And the reason why it comes across good is because Israel's expecting to get 30, which is better than none, because their people are starting to get unrest over all of this. But what people don't understand, none of this would have happened without Mr. Trump. This ceasefire wouldn't have happened, and
Right.
it weren't. So here's the thing that I think people need to understand. I think Mr. Trump really, I think he is a nationalist. I really do. But you can't have global corporation as he has and not have a global mentality in the background.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how this was a good deal. The Art of the Deal book he wrote.
Yeah.
How is them releasing 30 people a good deal for Israel releasing 2,000?
All it's done is buying time for Hamas and other entities to gather more troops, to regather themselves, try to put their command and structure back together again.
Do you think, Doc, with all remember the pagers going off and all that? Do you suppose Israel has chipped these people somehow?
I don't know.
And be able to find them anywhere on the planet?
Well, I wouldn't put it past them.
Then it wouldn't matter. Let them go, because next week I'll go get them.
That might be, but...
Or I'll blow them up.
But what I'm saying is that Mr. Trump has an ego bigger than he is. Much bigger than he is. And as long as he can be number one, as long as he can be first. 4 years ago or 6 years ago, or whatever it was, he developed warp speed to get the jab to everybody. His drive to be a success is more important than being able to weigh out the consequences of something down the road.
And to be fair, he was not behind the mandatory and the mandatory mask mandates.
But he put...
But he started. He did start the system.
He saw what was going, and in order to get ahead, in order to be number one in the world, we're going to fast forward. They're going to fast forward that.
But he had bad advice.
That's
he had
exactly
bad people
right.
around him.
That's why I'm saying. But they played on his ego of being number one, being the first to do it, being successful, and that's what this thing in the ceasefire is all about over there. The ceasefire is not about Israel and Hamas. This ceasefire is all about, look what I got done. I made that deal.
Now, why 42 days? What do you think that's about?
I don't know.
That's a strange number.
It's strange.
Not 30 days.
No.
Not 60 days. 42 days.
I don't know. I wondered myself. Yep.
So that's 6 weeks. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
A month and a half.
And there's another thing that's taking place right now that's not, I don't see it in a lot of the news or other places, but this project, not Stargate, what is it?
Starlink?
No, the AI program that they've got going on in Texas. Over $3 trillion and maybe up to $6 trillion of foreign investors and big tech industries is putting into this be number one, be the first in artificial intelligence, having the power over artificial intelligence. It's another one of those things that's setting the stage for the Antichrist down the road.
And
And I don't believe for any means that Donald Trump's the Antichrist. I have no doubt in my mind he's not.
But he doesn't know the Bible, and he'd be the first to admit that.
Exactly right.
He's a businessman.
And whether he's saved or not, that's between him and the Lord. And same way with you listening to us, it's between you and the Lord. I sometimes have said, boy, it don't look like they're saved. Well, I don't have the right to do that. I don't have that insight.
Yeah.
But it is obvious he doesn't know. And he doesn't have what I would call really qualified people to give him guidance.
Let's say we know we're going through a cashless society.
Yes.
The Bible is clear about that.
Well, he's pushing this crypto thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
But as a businessman, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
It's just that you and I we see that, hey, that's what it's going to be in the end time. That doesn't mean he's bad for pushing that. I mean, there's lots of pluses with it.
Yes.
You might not be so easy to be robbed. The problem is it's
going to put total control in their hands.
It puts government in charge of everything. And when in history has government ever done anything right?
Well, it's going to be tied to already. I mean, state after state has set the deadline when you're going to have a real ID. Won't be long until all of that is tied with a social crediting.
I still don't have that.
Yeah, well,
Kentucky, I could have got. I still don't have it.
Well, you only have another 2 months. The 1st of May in Kentucky, you have to have one.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and so I believe it's May 3rd or somewhere along in there. And all of this is being sold as protecting you, guarding your assets.
Yeah.
When in reality,
sounds good.
When all in reality, it is setting up a system that has an outside control over everything.
And that's the thing. Who oversees it? I mean, face it, the presidents are ruling by executive order now.
Right
in
now.
the last few decades. Yeah. Trump's signing all these things.
But he's not the only one. I mean, you can go all the way back to George Bush and the guy before him. I mean,
so it may sound good when you got your guy in there, but 4 years down the road, the other guy's in there. Is it still going to be good?
That's right.
Yeah.
But what he's setting in motion now is prophetically, it's going to go on down that road.
They're putting in $500 billion. There's 3 guys, I think, from overseas, and he had a news conference about that.
Yep.
And they were all excited about it. But it's AI stuff.
It's $3 trillion. $3 trillion. Not just from those guys, but altogether he had $3 trillion.
Yeah.
And he said by the end of January, expected it to be $6 trillion. That's a lot. That tells you, folks, how important artificial intelligence is going to become to the control of the world.
Yeah.
And it's not too difficult to play on his ego.
Yeah, and face it, everyone has some of that.
Everyone's
got some of that. I want to do something.
Not many people are in the position he's in.
And I'm glad that he's a go-getter and he pushes.
Oh yes.
But he's also a deal maker.
Yes.
And we look at this from a Bible perspective, and he's a businessman.
I don't think he has the quite much of an idea of prophecy to start with.
Yeah. And
he's not surrounded by spiritual leadership that give it to him.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for listening in today. We just wanted to come on and just talk about a little of the stuff that's going on. Till next time, keep your eyes on them sky.